Hey guys, today is May 26th, and today we're going to talk about the price of gold. We're going to talk about whether I think that this thing is going to continue higher, up to new all-time highs this year, or whether this is going to be another fake out and perhaps go down lower. Before we begin, please read the disclaimer, and you can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so gold has basically been in a nice uptrend since April, right? We were in a really strong downtrend for many months now, since peaking in August of last year. I talked about earlier this year, I talked about how we might possibly have a double bottom here. What I wanted to see us flip this Fibonacci resistance level into support. And we did that. We held, and we came down again to retest this support level. We held it, came down, came up, came down to retest this support level that we had previously failed to hold here. And now we've basically going up higher, right? Making higher lows and higher highs over here, going up higher. Now the question is this going to end up being something like this or like this, right? When we peek our head above this Fibonacci level here, this resistance level around 1920, right? These prices went all the way up to 1950, 1960 level before getting strong rejection. And I think this is a moment of truth, right? A couple things. First of all, we're starting to become overbought right now. Or we're not starting. We are very overbought in a short term, right? I mean, let's look at the RSI. Right, there's still some room to run up here. Still some room to run, but we're getting close to that level where it's the moment of truth, right? When we get to these levels that we previously had here, let me draw a line here. Are we going to get a rejection like we did, or are we going to be able to break through? And that's really the question that we're going to have to ask ourselves. This is gonna probably take like another week or two to play out. But as we head, we might actually see a short-term pullback because we have so many daily consecutive green candles in a row, right? And usually there is a bit of a pullback before we continue higher. But if this thing does go parabolic, there's a good chance that we might get rejected because we already got rejected these two times, and we failed to hold. We actually got rejected here as well before we collapsed down, right? This descending triangle over here. But it does seem like there is a lot of positive momentum, right? Now let's look at like different catalysts, right? If you notice here, this rally began in April, right? What happened in April? The dollar started to collapse in April, right? The dollar had some strength early this year, and there was some speculation that this thing could follow a similar pattern in 2018, right? But instead of going up higher, we actually collapsed and basically faded this entire rally, right? So now that dollar is getting close to the floor now, the question is, are we going to break this floor and continue down lower? Because if we continue down lower, like this downtrend began in April, right? Now gold has been basically going up since April. So the question is, if the dollar can continue going down, I do think that that's going to give more fuel for the price of gold to go up higher, right? But the key level is going to be around 1950, 1960. We want to see if we're going to get strong rejection like we did here, or whether we're going to be able to break through. If we do come down, we want to hold as support, right, and make another higher low, right? Higher lows and higher highs and reverse. Because right now we have reversed this trend, and we are in a bullish uptrend. However, and on a macro level, right, on a short to medium term, we are in an uptrend, right? So we are looking bullish. But if we want to be bullish on a macro level, on a longer time frame, we want to surpass these resistance levels, these previous highs, right? We want to break above, pull back, find support, and push up higher, and then we'll have a chance at new all-time highs by the end of this year. Now, interesting. I want to look at the previous cycle, right? These Fibonacci lines are drawn by the previous high here and the previous low in 2015, right? High in 2011, 2015. Now we're actually following a very similar pattern, right? Peaked out a little higher than all-time high set in 2011, but if you look at the price action, look what happened. Maybe if I draw. Now I'm gonna go back to candles. So we came up here, pulled down, came up again, and we tried to break above, right? But this didn't end up going a lot higher than the previous all-time high. We ended up coming up short, and then we enter a bear market and pushed in a downtrend, right? Right now we're coming through a similar situation where we came up, pulled back, and now we're attempting to go and take all-time highs. If if we peak below the previous all-time high set in August of last year, like we did, peaking below the previous all-time high back in 2011, right? Peaked below here, around here, failed to break the previous all-time high, and then plunge into a bear market, a multi-year bear market, right? If we come up and we fail to reclaim the all-time high, we might see similar price action, right? So the question we're gonna have to ask ourselves as this price action develops over the next couple of weeks is this in retrospect going to be something similar here, where we just continue to move sideways for the rest of the decade? Or is this pullback just a short-term pullback in a new uptrend, right? Like we had over here or over here. And honestly, I can't answer that question right now because it's too early to say, right? But in the short to medium term, what I can say is I want to see us at least break above the 1950 to 1960 level, right? Of course, we had to get through this Fibonacci level first around 1920, but we seem to break strong above here. So what I'm more concerned about is the 1950, 1960 level. So I want to see us break above this level and then go up towards all-time highs, because if we get rejected again, I believe that the probability of us going down lower is a lot higher than us going a lot higher, right? So that's what I'm looking for in gold in the short term. Overall, I am leaning more bullish, especially if we are able to hold this uptrend, right? Because we are making higher lows and higher highs. So we are we are in an uptrend right now. But of course, we want to see how the price reacts to this level, right? Now let's go to silver. Silver, I've been saying many times, it's more bullish than gold because it is in this sort of imperfect ascending triangle pattern here, where higher lows, but we keep making the same higher highs around $29 to $30, right? So what I'm looking for with silver is I want to see us not only retest the previous high that we set over here and over here, but I want us to have a clean break above that. And not only that, but after that, there's going to be a strong resistance at this Fibonacci level around $30. I want us to break above higher and basically just break out of this ascending triangle. And that's going to confirm that this is a ascending triangle, right? Something like this, where we have a magnificent break above, where we consolidated here for a while, and then basically pushed up higher, right? Something similar, but on a longer time frame, right? Consolidate and then push up higher. So that's what silver definitely looks more bullish because it is actually closer than gold was to its previous 52-week highs, right? But silver does seem like it is consolidating a little bit, but it looks a lot stronger, at least with gold. Because the thing about gold is that it's going up a little too quickly. And the last time that happened, when it went up too quickly, we got a strong rejection. So I would rather see gold kind of like pull back, move sideways, trend along this Fibonacci resistance level and then push up higher and sort of build a strong base, right? And take, just shake some people out, shake the weak hands out, slowly absorb the supply, and then just push the price up higher, you know? Same thing, similar to what silver. I think silver looks healthier because it is going sideways, right? It is going sideways. It does look like a typical reaccumulation period after a huge impulse move up. Impulse, reaccumulate, and push up higher. Whereas gold, we had this really big downtrend, bearish downtrend, which is reversing now. But yeah, so in the short term, and just another point, like silver usually follows gold, right? For some reason, silver is a lot stronger than gold right now, but silver usually follows gold and it's much more volatile. So I do think that if gold is able to break above this resistance level and push up higher, right, and push up higher higher than these two levels, resistance level where it was rejected, I do think silver is going to have some fuel to push up higher as well. But if gold gets rejected and this ends up being something like we talked about, looking similar to 2011 to 2012 and then entering a bear market, I think definitely, like if we look at silver as well, right, if we're not able to reclaim above 30, we likely will see something similar that we saw here. Maybe not as dramatic as this, but maybe coming down to $20 sideways. But right now I'm actually more optimistic, much more bullish than I am bearish, especially since we have a strong break above. But right now what I'm looking for, of course, is what I talked about, this level, 1950, 1960. So I'm gonna leave this line up here, and we'll come back in maybe in a week or two, because precious metal tends to take some time to play out. We'll come back in a week or two and see if we're able to retest this level, and more importantly, if we're able to break above, or whether, like the last two times, we're gonna get rejected again. So definitely update you guys, and we'll see how this plays out going forward. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, helpful, informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.